here we are on day one proper, and welcome to Tour de North. Yeah, a little bit like Tour de France, but obviously, yeah, you get the idea. Tour de North. It is just before 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm starting in a place called Stone in Staffordshire. Why there, I hear you say? Well, the middle of Staffordshire, in my opinion, is the start of the north. So therefore, for a tour of the north, what better place to start? So my objective today is, well, first of all, to get to Stoke, it's about 15 miles north from here. Then to get to Preston Brook, that's about 44 miles. And then I've got about another 10 miles after that on the Bridgewater Canal. This is the Trent and Mersey Canal, by the way. So I will bring you back just as soon as something exciting happens. Oh, 8 miles in and just over an hour later, and I find myself here, Utopia Industrial Museum. This is where the Trent and Mersey Canal meets the Calden Canal, and where I intend to be, having done a very long round trip, 7 days from now. As you can see, right now, the weather is absolutely glorious, but the weather app has assured me it is going to be changeable all week and pretty cold, as it's nearly June. It's going to be down to about 12 degrees on some days and about 7 degrees at night, which is a bit nippy. It's going to be mostly cloudy, and I'm probably going to get rain 2 days, 2 out of 7. If somebody offered you 2 out of 7 on a trip and said take it or leave it, take your 2 out of 7 or take your chances, you'll probably snap their hand up and say, yeah, we'll have the 2 out of 7, preferably not rain on the last day. But yeah, like I say, the weather's not going to be all that special. However, there are 1 or 2 advantages to bad weather, or not very nice weather. One, you get less bugs, especially when you're on the canal. They don't like wind and they prefer a bit of sun. You get less people on the canal, especially as we got a bank holiday coming up next weekend. And also, you just get less people everywhere. You know, you want to stop in a campsite, you want to stop at a cafe, pub or whatever, less people, better service. So that is my attempt to look on the bright side when the weather is not so good. Well, 13 miles and 2 hours in, and we come across this. Let me turn you around. The Harecastle Tunnel, which is the first kind of sort of mileage point of the day. Up and over the tunnel, cross the M6, get to Preston Brook, and then onto Bridgewater Canal. But I will talk you through that later on. Job number 1, get up and over that tunnel. Not a problem. In fact, it's a walk in the park. Welcome to Cheshire. We have changed counties since coming over the Harecastle Tunnel, and for the first time today, or hopefully for the first time today, we'll be crossing the M6. Next time I cross the M6 up near Thirlwall Viaduct Way, I'll be getting ready to camp somewhere. Struggling a bit right now. The hours seem to be going quicker than the miles, which is really kind of annoying. Got a headwind coming right at me, otherwise it wouldn't be a headwind, which has been all day to be fair, but on the Stoke side you're just sort of down out the wind, really. It's very sort of enclosed, whereas Cheshire is absolutely lovely. Get a load of that view, but right wide out in the open, or out in the wide open, whatever, you know what I mean. So yeah, I am probably not going to do too much more filming this afternoon. Better get on with it. And here I am at the place I've mentioned once or twice already, Preston Brook. All I've got to do now is go up and over a tunnel down that way and do another 10 miles. That don't sound like much, except it's 7:30 already. I guess it gets dark about 9 o'clock. I think I'll be pitching my tent in the dark tonight. Now I really wish I bought that head torch, but I will explain a bit more about that another time. I'll go through some of the stuff I bought and some of the stuff I didn't. So I think, yeah, I will see you at the camp spot. Morning campers! Well, as you can see, that is my camp spot there. I'm in a little place called, I don't know whether I should say the name, I won't say the name actually. It's a little wood, it is just off the Bridgewater Canal in Greater Manchester or Cheshire, depending how posh you're feeling. Got here last night, it was about 20 to 10 and just about enough daylight to see what I was doing. Few minor details on the tent I couldn't really see properly, but yeah, not a bad time to arrive. I mean, I would have rather been an hour earlier, but at least nobody's going to see you. The reason I didn't bring a head torch, in case any of you are wondering, I mentioned that yesterday, is I don't tend to use it really. I tend to be pitched up well before dark. This time of year, especially if the sun's out, it doesn't really get properly dark at night. I've got a sort of an internal light for my tent. So yeah, and had I had a head torch, I'm not sure whether I would have wanted to use it, because you just drawing attention to yourself. So, so there we are. That is the end of day, well, start of day 2, end of day 1. But didn't get a lot of filming done in the afternoon, as you probably noticed, which is a shame because Cheshire was absolutely lovely. But anyway, I'm going to get on with I'm going to do a slow pack away. I pride myself on an hour from bed to bike, really. Could do it in less than that, could do it in 30 minutes. I like a nice slow pack up in the morning. So I will get back to you later in the day. Welcome back to the Bridgewater Canal. I'm at a place called Waters Meet. Imaginatively titled, that's the way I've come from. That way goes to Manchester. This is as close to Manchester as I'm going to get. My path lies behind me. I have to say, big up the Bridgewater Canal. Paths are absolutely fantastic. After yesterday's fun and games riding through the mud on the Trent and Mersey, the paths are either paved kind of concrete or they're mud, but they're well worn because people appreciate the canals up here. A lot of joggers and cyclists, rowers, all sorts. So I go that way, on to Wigan. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Barton Swing Aqueduct. Trying to get a look over. I can't see where the camera's pointing now, so I'm pointing over the railings. An absolute masterpiece of engineering. Now this is where the Bridgewater Canal crosses the Manchester Ship Canal. The Manchester Ship Canal, that is the thing that caused all the trouble, all the rivalry between Manchester and Liverpool. I'm pretty sure this is the only swing aqueduct on the whole system. Unfortunately, it requires a bit of a detour if you're going by bike. There's obviously no towpath there. I've got to go down and around the name of that road. and welcome to the Leeds-Liverpool Canal. It is called that because it goes between two cities, and those, oh, you know, okay, fairly obvious really. This is the canal I will be calling home for the next 2 or 3 days. The next phase centres around this canal completely. And now apparently I've been on the Leeds-Liverpool Canal, or a branch of it. The Bridgewater Canal, or the Lee branch of the Bridgewater Canal, turns into the Lee branch of the Leeds-Liverpool Canal, sort of part way down, even though it looks a little bit the same to me. I'm glad to be off that canal, lovely though it was, fantastic towpaths, like I said, big up the Bridgewater Canal. It was getting very kind of samey for the last few miles, so I'm here in Wigan. So here's where I do a right and head towards Blackburn. Well, the good news, I've made it to Blackburn. I've neglected filming for the last couple of hours. Been seriously flagging. I had 50 miles to do today, which is about 5 less than yesterday. But I've got this lovely little campsite. Let me turn you around and I'll... it's a lovely little spot. It's a lot like a back garden in many ways. But they're doing pizzas tonight, and for free, obviously. So that's good. Just put mine in the oven. And they've even got Champions League on the telly. As you can see, the boys have started early.
Yeah.
There's
Hello.
Will, pizza chef extraordinaire. So yeah, that's me. That's me done for the day. I will catch you tomorrow out on the canal somewhere. Morning YouTube. Now you might notice something different about me. I'm wearing my coat. It has gone right chilly. Down to about 11 degrees today, which is not much good for summer really. I guess not bad cycling weather really. You don't sweat and drink so much. But anyway, I'm here halfway up Blackburn Locks. I should explain where I was camping last night. As some friends of mine that live in Blackburn. It's probably fairly obvious to you, but just in case you were wondering. So yeah, I've known them for about 5 or 6 years. We met on a camping holiday in Cornwall, would you believe? So I'm on my way, hopefully to Skipton today, if not Skipton, Gargrave. Gargrave's about 35 miles, Skipton's 40, so it's about 10:30 in the morning. The problem with staying at a friend's house, too comfortable, and comfort is the enemy of progress. So I left at 10 o'clock and I need to get on. So onwards to Skipton. And finally, we say goodbye to the M65. Over there somewhere. And looks like building a reservoir there. It doesn't look like they're building a reservoir there. They are building a reservoir. Say it as it is. I've got a couple of miles to go before I go up and over the Fellridge Tunnel. And I think I've got about 15 miles to do after that. And it's about 3:30 in the afternoon. Funny story, which I'll tell you later. Thought my bike had been stolen about 20 minutes ago. Yeah, little bit of a heart stopper, but I'll go into more detail when I stop. For now, let's get to that tunnel. There we go. Am I in Yorkshire yet?
No, I don't know. I live in Yorkshire. I feel it all looks the same.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Hey up! I'm in Yorkshire. I said I'm in Yorkshire. I'll put up a caption in case anybody doesn't understand that. Apparently, once you go over the Falwich Tunnel, you magically find yourself in Yorkshire, which is nice. And the views look like that. A couple of trees in the way there. Don't know how well that's coming out. These pesky trees keep getting in the way. How about up there? It is rather nice. Let me point that out there. I'll turn the camera around, hold on. There we go. Yorkshire, ladies and gentlemen. I give you Yorkshire at Bridge 149. I desperately need to get to a campsite. I will get back to you when I get to a campsite. You know the great thing about canals? Well, you might be able to hear the echo in my voice because you're very clever. You have an abundant supply of shelters for when it rains, known as bridges of all things. But yeah, you can see it out there, shutting it down. I think it's a passing shower. When I say I think, I of course mean I hope. Could have done without my tent pitched already, but hey ho, what are you gonna do? So I'm gonna give it 10-15 minutes here maximum, and then just have to go. And apparently I've been told I've got one of those tents that are really difficult to pitch in the rain, because it pitches the fly net first and the fly sheet second. People say, oh, it's a nightmare pitching them in the rain, but I think it'd have to be raining pretty heavy for that to be a problem. And I think in the time we've been talking, or time I've been talking, you might have been talking as well, the rain has eased slightly. So loving Yorkshire though, absolutely fantastic, really is. I mean, this canal, the Yorkshire side, is certainly nicer. It just bends and winds and snakes around the countryside like a great big snaking thing. Sorry, best I can do, I'm not a poet. Anyway, I'll get back to you at the campsite. And as you can see, I'm here. Where's here? I hear you say. A little village called Gargrave. It's about 3 miles short of where I was going to be. There's another campsite just down the road there. I was going to go to that one. I stopped at this one here, but let's just give you a quick pan around. Once heard a wise man say, that view don't suck, does it? Now, I'm going to play a quick game here. Okay, play along. It's called Spot the Professionals compared to the amateur. Let me turn you around. Got the matching tent brothers here. Thank you for that. Thank you for ruining my film. Got their bikes there. Got them panniers. And then Then we got me and with what I've got. But yeah, I was talking to these two guys earlier. They've just gone up the pub. Might bump into them later, not quite sure. But anyway, the end of another day. What have I done? About 38 miles today. Bit of a struggle. Funny story, which I promised I would tell you. Now, loving that whole canal, okay, but the Lancashire bit between Blackburn and Burnley and beyond, it is like an urban wilderness. The towpath is very kind of unloved, okay. There's nothing. I was expecting to see like a coffee shop or a pub on my side of the canal, or nothing. No water points, no nothing. So I've done about 20 miles, completely out of water. Looked at me map, I thought, well, this is the last town I'm going to be in before the tunnel. A place called Barrowford. So I thought I'm just going to have to chuck a right and see what I find. Turn right, the town centre. Like an oasis in the distance. Well, about 50 yards in the distance, hardly gone anywhere. Morrison's. Went to Morrison's, had a coffee shop. So I thought, right, parked my bike up outside. Went into Morrison's, had to walk a bit inside to go to the coffee shop. Coffee shop's never quite at the front. I came out the door, my bike wasn't there. Now at this point I was about 50-50 on, is there more than one door? I'm not quite sure. I then kind of panicked a bit and that went down to about 70-30 and not in my favour. And then I remembered I'd put my bike by some plants. So I looked around and I thought, this isn't the door. So I walked around the shop and there it was. But yeah, a little bit of panic. And I'm thinking to myself, I've got my bag here. I've got my trusty bag that's got my phone in, my charger, got my wallet on me. There's nothing absolutely essential. So everything absolutely essential is with me, stays with me at all times. And then I thought, except for my van key. My van key is on the bike. I thought of this later on. So the van key is now in the bag of essentials. I've learnt from that one, but yeah, bit of a scary moment. I don't like taking my eye off my bike, except when I'm in a campsite like this. I'll be quite comfortable. I mean, it's up against the wall anyway, you can't see it. But yeah, all's well. But anyway, that is it for today. I am going to I'm going to mosey on up the pub. Actually, might get something to eat, or might just nibble on my bag of peanuts that I've snuck in. Who knows? But I will catch you tomorrow out on the canal as usual. Well, up and away on my beautiful red bike. I mentioned I'm loving Yorkshire. It's a bit cold, it's cloudy right now, but the scenery, my God, it is fantastic. You're surrounded by hills. You've got this lovely flat path. It feels like you're cheating. It feels like somehow you're going through all these hills, the rough ground, on the super cycle highway. Loving the Liverpool Canal, the premier Trans-Pennine Trail in my opinion. We've got cows up on the field. Sorry about the wobbly camera. Lots of gates around here, gates every half a mile or so. Obviously it's a cattle and sheep country. Oh God, just have a little burp there. But my plan today is to get to Keighley, not Keighley. Keighley's an actress. Keighley in Yorkshire, and then I'm going to take to the roads. I'm actually going to come off the canals and go across the moors past Haworth. And this is where we say goodbye to the Leeds-Liverpool Canal. Debating doing an extra day on this canal and stopping in a campsite for 2 nights and doing a bit of a day trip. I was going to go all the way down to Bingley and Saltaire, which are lovely, but try that another day. But basically I've got a spare day, so from this point on I'm effectively making my way back towards Stoke by a non-direct route, and I'm going to go from here in Keighley. I don't know where the bit comes from in Keighley, it looks like a Keighley to me, and I'm going to go cross country to a town called Sowerby Bridge in Yorkshire, where there is an excellent bike trail that goes up to Rochdale in Lancashire. So this is going to be a long old day. It's just gone 11 o'clock, it's taken me 2 hours to get here to do about 15 miles, which ain't bad. So yeah, 16 miles on the road, basically any hills I'm walking. So let's see how we get on. You know, a man once told me, "Hey mate, you'll be better off going by train, so you'll never guess what I'm doing today." I'm going by train. I am on the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway, made famous in the film The Railway Children, and cost me, I'm only going as far as Haworth. I think it's got about 4 or 5 stops. I'm going as far as Haworth. It's a very historical town, famous for a variety of things, but we'll get to that in a bit. And we're on the move. Downside is, it isn't a steam train, but it is historic because it's a diesel train, and they're going well out of fashion now as well. So I'm hoping to see a steam train on this line at some point today. But yeah, £7.50 to jump 7 or 8 miles. I'll take that all day long. So I'm not a big fan of trains, but yeah, a historic one like this, loving it. Here are the options. Take that A road down there that goes to the left, and then do a bit of up and downing to get to a town called Hebden Bridge, or go up that. I've done that much already from the main road. Go up that. Why would you want to go up that? I hear you say. If you go up, once you get to the top, that's it. It plateaus and it's downhill all the way to a town called Sowerby Bridge. Like I say, the other way, it's a bit up and downy. So, like the proverbial kid queuing up for the roller coaster, I think I'm going to take a short route, but Sweet Mama Cass, I am getting bloody old, mate. I really am trying to push that mother up a hill. It'd be hard enough getting myself up the hill without me bike. But anyway, haven't done any filming for it. I'm on the outskirts of a town called Oxenhope near Haworth, which is Oxenhope is the end of the Keilingworth Valley Railway. And I stopped at Haworth, which is compulsory when you're in these parts. Done the tourist thing, walked up the hill, bought a pie, didn't do any filming. I've got some interesting still shots. And I found a house called Three Chimneys. Can anybody tell me what film features a house called Three Chimneys that's filmed in this whole area? Easy one, really. Doesn't look like it's meant to, and it's not called Three Chimneys anymore, but apparently I'm assured that is it. I think the locals changed the name because they were pissed off with tourists. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Don't buy a bloody house like that if you don't like tourists. Anyway, just turn you back to that hill. And I'm kind of at the top of the hill. I mean, I assume that was pretty well the top because it's one of those phone transmitters. But let me just turn you around. That's where I've just come from. What a view, what a view, what a view. I hope the camera is doing it justice. And the plateau, yeah, the plateau about that. Doesn't quite plateau just yet. Down into another dip around the corner. I think that is the last little hill there. Let me just turn. And certainly once I'm past those windmills, I will be up and over. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. There's a campsite just over there. So I'm hoping to camp early. That's not a plateau. The sun is always shinier on the other valley. Well, I found my plateau pretty much. I don't think there's any much more uphill. What's that? Phone mast over there. Then it should be downhill. And it's been raining a fair bit, not too heavy, but raining most of the way. What I'm hoping is I will stop here until it stops raining, and then when I roll down the hill, it closes to dry off going down the hill. See? Genius thinking. Or it might not stop raining, it could carry on raining and I'll just get even wetter. In which case, it's a blooming stupid idea. But it looks to be changing. I think I'm getting that next. Yeah, you know, that don't look all that much better on the film, but it looks better here. So, onwards to the campsite. Okay, bit of an update for you here. Well, I found the trail that was on the other side of the valley. I had a hell of a job getting over that hill. It started raining. I couldn't quite figure out which town I was going to. But I found the trail, the one that goes to Rochdale, and there it is. There, look. You're right, it does look a little bit like a canal. Now, I had a campsite in mind about a mile back in Hebden Bridge. I knew of one. But to try and give you an idea, I mean, I don't know how well you can see through those bars, but this is in an incredibly steep-sided valley. Campsite was about 4 miles off the canal, and the hill was like that. And I thought, you know what, I'm all hilled out today. I really am. So I'm going to mosey on along here. I know it is very urban from past experience. I've not been on it for a few years. I'm hoping to find a nice isolated lock. There's one down there that I had my eye on, but ground was a bit crap on the far side. So yeah, no campsite for me tonight. I'm out in the wild again. So I'll get back to you when I find the perfect camp spot. Well, camp update. Shall I do the joke? Shall I? Oh, well, the trouble I've had finding a place to camp, you wouldn't believe. I have found a place to camp. I promised you perfect. Well, I promised myself perfect. And I have found this. Stay right there. The Tinder Wood Trust is a little kind of woodland camp thingy, obviously literally right by the canal. Seems very quiet along here. I don't know who it, but obviously I know it belongs to the Tinder Wood Trust. I was hoping to tuck myself away a bit, but the only spot that is any good and flat is next to that there big tyre. So it's the waiting game, the waiting to get dark. It's been raining on and off for the last couple of hours, which is kind of annoying, and the weather don't look too good for the next few days, which is again kind of annoying. So there we are. That is me for the night. So I will get back to you in the morning somewhere out on the Rochdale Canal. Morning. Let's just extend that a little bit. There we go. Now, I'm bunged up this morning. First time I've spoken. Obviously, because I don't talk to myself. Now the more observant amongst you will have noticed it is raining. It's rained on and off through the night. Had a pretty good sleep though. It's coming up to 8 o'clock in the morning, which is normally my time for getting up. And I've got that dilemma. You know that dilemma. Do you wait for the rain to ease to get up? Do you just get on with it? Or do you wait too long for it to ease and it gets heavier? It's that one. I'm going to pick a point in about 10 minutes from now. Say, right, just getting up. Pack up inside the tent whenever I can. Keep your sleeping bag dry at all costs, and don't put your tent in your pannier. Stick it outside on the rack and let it drip all day, and blow your nose before you film yourself for YouTube. Right, I will see you out on the soggy trail. Well, I'm here just outside a town called Todmorden, or Todmorden, depending on how you pronounce that. Thinking about it now, I should have gone into town and tried to find a coffee shop, but I didn't. I carried on going, and it is raining. Just a little bit. Let me turn you around. There we go, that's that down there. And there's a couple of locks up there. Raining just a little bit, but it appears, I'm not going to say think or hope, I'm going to say it appears the weather's getting better in the direction I'm heading. Just packed my tent away this morning. Bit of groundwater leakage through my tent, even though it's got the old extra footprint with it. I think I might have been a bit of a lull in the ground, and I was sort of below the canal where obviously water can come through. So the one side of my sleeping mat is wet by now, probably both sides, because I've had to wrap it up. Put the tent on the outside of my bike, hoping I'll be able to dry it today. So I need a stop and a dry out, obviously. For that you need a bit of sun and a bit of breeze, but hey ho. Have to say, scenery along here, I mean, I've been here before, but the scenery along this Calder Valley, absolutely fantastic, and the architecture and the houses and the bridges just as well, really, isn't it? Because I need something right now just to sort of keep me motivated. There goes the train. On that note, I will catch up with you hopefully later when it's dry, but who knows, say? Who knows? Hello, me again. And this is where we say goodbye to the Rochdale Canal. Didn't spend much time on it really, and a lot of it I walked because there were so many puddles. But fantastic scenery, really love it along there. But I am wimping out for the day. Let me turn you around. Actually, I don't need to turn you around. I'm heading up that road there, a couple of miles away. There's a campsite. By the time I get there, it's going to be about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Went into a little bar for some breakfast. I'm having a half day, a light day, an easy day. Apparently the sun is... Anyone wants to burst into song, the sun will come out tomorrow. So yeah, bit of a crap day, but hey ho, I have enjoyed the scenery. I will bring you back at the campsite. Sorry about the road noise, by the way. There's a road, obviously. Just up there is where my tent is. But look at this. Not coming out too well because of the weather. But there you go. That view don't suck, does it? Ah, yes, I'm in a campsite. Well spotted. I knew you'd notice that. Actually, it's a caravan site that no longer accepts tents, even though they've got a whacking great field down there that's just been left fallow. It's got electric hookups and everything. They're no longer taking tents because tents keep getting bigger. That's called evolution. So, I mean, I spoke to the campsite owner. A lady on the phone told me to go in because the reception was shut. Then he came out and said, I'm not supposed to be camping it. I said, she said, he said, okay. But I said to him, I can understand about the tents getting bigger. On the whole, I mean, I'm a family tent family tent camper. Whoops, gonna leave that in. Can't be asked to retake. I think it is fair to say campers probably cause more trouble than caravanners. It's a bit of a hierarchy. If you can be exclusively caravans only, you're up in the Premier League. You're no longer having to take the undesirables that live in tents. But I said to him, why don't you just, yeah, I can understand that, but just keep a little bit spare just for backpackers, bikepackers. Always a bit of money to be had there. And they generally don't cause trouble. They just do things like do their laundry in the shower. Well, that is me done for the day. Well, last bit of filming for the day anyway. Here at Hollingworth Lake, which means I'm back in Lancashire, incidentally. It's a lovely little spot actually. I'm sure anybody in the Manchester, Oldham, Rochdale area will have heard of it. Got a little kind of seaside village thing going on over there. People rowing around the lake. Yeah, lovely little spot. Like I say, I haven't done much filming today. Hasn't been that much going on. Stopping at the campsite. Done me laundry. In fact, I'm still drying some of me laundry now. So not much to tell and not much you really want to know about. So I'm going to end today here. And tomorrow I'm heading over in the general direction of Saddleworth. Saddleworth, is that in Yorkshire? You know what, I can't remember. I think Saddleworth must be in Lancashire. Anyway, I'm heading over there, and let's see how I get on tomorrow. Morning! Now, can you notice something different about me? I've been looking back at the last 27 pieces of film I've done with me in, and I've been wearing that blue coat in every single shot. But today, the sun is just about shining. On the left there, you can see the field that is no longer used for camping. Because they don't like tents. Dirty tents. Lowering the tone of the neighbourhood. Frightfully awful people that camp in tents. And over there, if you can see it, I think you can see the M62. So that's me, new personal worst, getting up and packing away in the morning, 90 minutes, with making a cup of coffee. So there we are. I pride myself on doing it in an hour. Ooh, a little wobbly moment, excuse me. Yeah, I pride myself on doing it in an hour, but I did manage to dry my tent and dry everything pretty much 95% dry, which is good. Actually had some sunshine to dry it with this morning, not much breeze though. So anyway, well, somebody's stopping for me in the passing place, so I better make this short. I am on my way at the moment. I think I've got about 10 miles cross country to Saddleworth, or Saddleworth thereabouts, where I'm going to pick up another, thank you, just saying thank you to the car in case you're wondering, I'm going to pick up another canal path of all things. So let's go find another canal. Just walked up a rather large hill. In fact, I'm not even at the top of it yet, it's behind me, but there's the old transmitter thingy there. But what the hills make? Anybody? Views. I hope the camera is doing that justice, and I hope I don't get hit by a motorised vehicle. You see in the distance those windmills? Well, I was probably there a few days ago, but I haven't the faintest idea. I'm not exactly even sure where here is. I just know I'm on the way to Saddleworth. It's 10:30 in the morning, and we're doing okay. Sun's shining, a little bit hot. Might have to remove a layer, although when I go down the hill, obviously that'll be a different story. So and now I definitely am at the top of the hill. Well, 100 yards that way. But let me turn you around for a second. Do a quick pan around. I hope that the camera is doing this justice. This is, I mean, it's the best view I've had, as in to see the furthest. Not necessarily the most scenic, because yeah, sorry, but somebody stuck some whacking great big city in the way. Some of you might recognise it. Totally mad for it. Alright. And welcome to the Huddersfield Canal. I'm back on the canal paths again. Lovely though those views were, I'm quite happy to be off the road again. And the views are pretty good here too. Look at that. Lovely bit of stone archwork. Now you don't see that down south there.
You've got the right idea. I don't blame you.
And that was the Huddersfield Canal. I was only on it for about, I don't know, 9-10 miles, something like that. And it's very nice. All the locks are down on the way to Manchester. But I didn't do much filming. Stopped for a little bit of lunch. Done some filming on the last of the nice bit. Cue example. Then after that it gets a bit industrial, a bit urban. You go through a town called Stalybridge, where they've done all the paths up really nice with block paving. Looks lovely, but once again I'm going to use that word, unloved. Just not many people using it. All the weeds are going through the cracks in the block paving. Bit of a shame. And then after that it gets very industrial and muddy on the path. Kind of glad to be going that way. This is where three canals meet. You've got the Ashton Canal going into Manchester, Huddersfield where I've just came from, and the Peak Forest Canal going that way. I'm going to take the Peak Forest and get out of town. We are going. Thank you. Now I've actually I've changed canals since we last spoke. I forgot to mention, normally I'll tell you at every junction. I'm now on the Macclesfield Canal. And I'm about, what have I done? About 6 miles, and I've got about 10 to go. Well, I'm hoping to find a campsite. Now, the great thing about canals is the things you see. Let me turn you around. Have a look at this here. This guy's, I call it a colourful junkyard. Along with his lovely red boat. Whether he owns that bit of land, I have absolutely no idea. It's a bit of a grey area of the law, because apparently the waterways authorities own both sides of the canal, 10 foot either side or something like that. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. So, onwards to the campsite. Like I say, about 10 miles to go. It's 10 past 4. I'm flagging a little bit, hence the Red Bull. So I will bring you back just as soon as something really exciting happens. And here I am. Where is here? I hear you say. This is called Elm Beds Caravan Park, and it's not the campsite I mentioned earlier. That was further down the track, other side of Macclesfield. I phoned them and they said, "Are you a member?" I said, "A member of what?" They said, "A camping and caravan club. I think you know the deal on this one." Some do let you in, even though you're not a member. I'm not exactly sure how it works, and to be honest, I don't care. I tend to avoid those places. So I ended up here in what is clearly what you might call the somewhat lower end of the market, which is probably why I feel so at home. It's lovely. Okay, let's do the checklist. Flat ground, check. Toilets and showers down there. Haven't checked, well, I've had a look at them, haven't had a shower yet. Look pretty good. Noise level, nothing going on. Manchester Airport not a million miles away, but I don't think they fly all night. They might start up at 6 or 7 in the morning. Apart from that, can't hear a thing really. And last of all, access to a local pub. Yes, probably less than a mile, and I believe they do food. Not sure whether I'm hungry or not, but obviously food is a factor a lot of the time. So yeah, I will put this place on my visit again if I'm cycling in the area. It's near a town called Higher Poynton in Cheshire. I'm in a different county now. You probably know that already. So yeah, all good. This is me for the night. I'm going to finish getting me stuff together and then go down a pub. Happiness is waking up with the sun on your tent. Did have a bit of a job drying it out, but the sun was shining on my tent this morning. Absolutely glorious. I had central heating. I could open my sleeping bag, have an extra little lie in. How good is that? I know. Anyway, where in the world am I? This does not look like a canal, I hear you say. I am on the Greenwood Trail, which is an old railway, a rail trail, and everybody loves a rail trail. Yes, they do, even you. And it runs pretty well parallel with the Macclesfield Canal from Marple to Macclesfield for 11 miles. So I thought, well, what the hell? I will give it a try. Give canals a bit of a a morning off. Now it's all very nice. It's nice to have a little bit of a change, but you don't get the views that you do on the Macclesfield Canal, and also it's mostly in the shade. But it is very nice. I'm not complaining, I'm merely pointing out the differences. So I'm going to mosey on into Macclesfield and get myself some breakfast. Look at this. Dual carriageway. How cool is that? I think it's preferred if one side is for horses, the other side for bikes and walkers. But anyway, I am going to use this morning and this nice smooth path to go through a couple of things that you might have wondered. First of all, as you can see, absolutely no lycra was harmed in the making of this film. I've nothing against lycra, I just don't like it. Simple as that. Can't quite see the point of it, supposedly to stop chafing. Well, I've got a wide off saddle on my bike, never really had a problem with chafing. Ooh, a little wobble there. So yeah, lycra seems to be as much a fashion statement as it is a practical active wear, as they say these days. So yeah, don't believe in it. And the next thing, you may well have noticed, you've not actually seen me cook anything yet. So I'm going to throw the question out there: to cook or not to cook? To stove or not to stove? That is the question. Now, I'm only away for 7 days. If you bring a stove, obviously you bring stove, gas, pots, pans. Adds to a lot of weight. Therefore, I have decided not to, and just live off the land. Living off the land does get expensive. I didn't spend too much in the first few days. I was supposed to stop at my mate's house and catching a free pizza. Had a lot to do with that, and I brought some food with me. But the last 2 nights, I've done 20 quid in the pub per night. But I have charged my phone up, so it's not all bad. Now, I have bought a very basic brew kit, which I will show you in pieces for right about now on a separate bit of film. Basically, that is just enough to make me a cup of black coffee in the morning. It does involve using Hexi tabs. Hexi tabs haven't got a great reputation on YouTube. Personally, I'm not a big fan, but they do serve a purpose at times like this, because they weigh sod all, and literally burn one, it's gone. You instantly carry in less weight. So for that reason, bought my little Hexi tab kit. And here is where we say goodbye to yet another canal. Say goodbye to the Macclesfield Canal, which has been very nice. I've not cycled that much for it because I took a detour onto the trail I got the name of wrong, and I remember the new name and now I can't remember it again, but I will correct that with a caption. But yeah, lovely little spot, the Macclesfield Canal. Fantastic views on at least one side all the way down. This paths are okay, but a bit stony. The whole of this canal, known as the Macca, the paths are never that good and never that, well, sometimes good, but rarely that good and never that bad. Just stony, similar to Trent and Mersey, but better, and similar scenery as well, it being in rural Cheshire, cow country. Now, I don't think I've mentioned this already, but my plan today is to head over to Leek and find yet another canal. You're getting good at this, aren't you? So I'm going to take to the roads once more and see what I see. Well, the A523 is just there, a little bit dangerous. the path went out and nutters are coming past me on sports cars. So I've come down here and I found this thing, and I'm hoping, wait for it, I'm going to bring you with me. Pardon the wobbly camera. I'm hoping it is a cycle track that heads in a Leek general direction. That's a good point. The downside is made of this stuff, railway shingle. Some of the stones about the size of a cream egg. But it's preferable to death, right? So I'm gonna go get my bike, which is currently down there, and take to the path. Well, the railway shingle didn't last long. Apparently I'm on the Staff's Way, and on my right, nice view of a lake. There we are, the Staff's Way, which I'm pretty sure goes all the way to Leek. Good news is, railway shingle didn't last long, about half a mile. And then there was another bridge I could have got on there much easier. Whether it was advertised from the main road, not exactly sure. But yeah, there you go, the Staff's Way. Lovely little spot. If you're ever in the area, good scope for wild camping, I would say, along here. Did see some kind of campsite back there, might have only been a caravan site though, not sure. But yeah, a few lakeside spots. Oh, there you go, back on. Yeah, a few lakeside spots where you could camp. So I think I've done the right thing too, because I can see the 8523 going up and down like a roller coaster on my left. So let's get to Leek, shall we? Well, at the end of the lake there's a great big wall holding back the water. Shall I do the joke? Shall I? Damn, hold the, yeah, all right, okay. I don't know how I think I'm up. Oh, right, yeah, lovely little spot that I've inadvertently found. I was aware of this place, I've seen it on Google Maps and what have you. Never been to it before. Let's just turn it. You are here. And right there it says canal feeder. So presumably follow that and I should find a canal. But more importantly, just over there, there's somebody selling ice creams. So I think it's ice cream o'clock. Back on the canal path after a modest amount of messing about in Leek. As it turned out, according to the sign on that rail trail, I could bypass Leek just by staying on that trail, go directly to the canal. But those blue signposts, they for cycles, oh, they can be fun, can't they, right? Yeah, a little bit inconsistent, hey? Just a little bit confusing, yeah. It's sarcasm or rent, take your pick. I'm going for sarcasm this time. I've had one rent already today, so yeah, those pesky blue signposts. Oh my god, another tunnel. Oh well, up and over. And welcome back to the Calden Canal, where we are at a junction. Leak, that's where we come from. Woodyard Lake, 5 miles. Well, those 2 miles that I should have done took me about 45 minutes. Foracle Basin, that is not where we're going today. I will go there another day. And under there, Utreria, otherwise known as Stoke. That is where we're heading. So, path's looking good as well. Down there, the last bit of that path kind of fell apart and looks a lot like the typical Trent and Mersey in the north. I'm hoping this bit back to Stoke will be slightly better. So, to Stoke. I once heard a wise man say, "Oh, cock." And after what, 7 days, 6 days, 7 days, depending on how many days you count, this is the 7th day. I am back, not exactly where I started from, but near enough, at Utreria. I think that's how you say it, where the Calden Canal meets the Trent and Mersey. So I'm going to head south down the Trent and Mersey. Hang on a sec. Let's get them off so people can see your face. I'm going to head south down the Trent and Mersey and hopefully find a lovely place to camp. Well, I have found a place to camp. This might seem like a strange place to camp. But let me turn you around. For the last time I'm going to say this. Let me turn you around. I will be camping in that tonight. Right, now the smart ones amongst you will have realised I have got here a day sooner than I expected to or was planning to. Basically, I didn't fancy another night in a camp spot, and I was going to get a campsite on the Calden Canal, but campsites are going to be mad busy. Even if I could get in, it's going to be mental. I just didn't fancy it. But what I haven't mentioned once for the whole week is how I've been getting slightly paranoid about my van being parked on the main road, what I would call hidden in plain sight. I left a little note on the windscreen saying not stolen or abandoned, just off camping. But yeah, I was getting a little bit paranoid about my van. I would have to make a film, and God, you would see a bloody grown man cry. And to be honest, I'm quite emotional. Let me get in the cab. I'll stick the tripod on and we'll talk some more. Well, that, as they say, is that. I've done around about 260 miles. I kind of ran out of enthusiasm clocking the mileage every day. That mileometer I got is a little bit strange, but the master amount of miles, as in the amount of miles I've done since I've owned a speedometer, is on 268, and I only done a short local journey of about 6-7 miles with that on. So I've done at least 260. I've done most of the Cheshire Ring. I've done some of the South Pennine Ring, some of the North Pennine Ring. Yeah, like I say, a little bit of paranoia about my van not being here. I mean, it's as safe as anywhere, obviously. It's just, you know, if it was stolen, it could be gone for a week. So yeah, a little bit emotional. So here I am, I'm back in Stone in Staffs. It is bloody hot in this van, probably because I was sweating cycling on the canal. I just started going faster and faster towards the end. So to sum up, I overstretched myself in the first 2 days. Booked in way too many miles, so didn't need to. I could have parked the other side of Stoke, you know. Bit silly, but there we are. I think I'm getting older, and maybe I'm basing it on yesteryear physical ability. If I'd done a trip like this again, 40 miles would be my absolute maximum day. I'll probably do something close to 30. It is slow and difficult on them canals. Talking to a guy just now, and his girlfriend, didn't catch his name. He said he was going to subscribe to the channel. Hello, if you do, whatever your name is, please leave a comment. He was interested in doing canal cycling, and he said about how good the paths are. So I said, well, could take a while to explain. So yeah, contact me, and yeah, we'll talk some more. But anyway, so this is me signing out. I'll say one more thing I was going to say. If I've learned one thing that I kind of knew already, I just reiterated, if you can, get a campsite. Okay, I know maybe it doesn't look so cool on YouTube. If there's 4 or 5 year cycling and you want to do silly mileage, you're gonna do what you want anyway, and you might just want to camp out everywhere and drive till dusk. But yeah, if you can, get a campsite. That's what they're there for. So there we are. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to Bushcraft Dads, and we will be making a thoroughly thrilling video sometime soon. Goodbye. I might even take a shower tonight. I didn't have a shower last night. Well, because I'm Gary and I'm disgusting.